Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Imperfect podcast. Today, in our episode, we have a very special guest. We have Myriam. Hi, Myriam.
Hello, Ziad. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here.
How are you today?
Very good up until we tried for more than half an hour to make it happen because it's really started on an imperfect note, but we're here.
Yes, 46 minutes to just make sure that the connection and everything is ready. So yeah, but it made it even more interesting. No, now we're ready. We don't need to introduce a lot of things. So
We're done.
maybe we can start with you introducing yourself very quickly in the way you wish.
Okay, so my name is Myriam. I am a very dear friend of Ziad, and I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I'm a human being. I live a fantastic life. I have ups and downs. And maybe throughout the session, I would be more comfortable really showing my real face.
Let's see. Let's see, Miriam. So, Miriam, you are like me and maybe even more. You like perfection, no?
Yes, I'm a bit obsessed with perfectionism.
What do you like in perfection and what is perfection for you? Why is it important for you?
Well, I don't like it anymore. I don't like perfection. I'm used to be a perfectionist because this is how I grew up, and this is a part of the personality I had to construct. But I don't like perfection, and I'm doing my best now to realize and notice when I go into this tendency to just allow more uncertainty and what is really happening to happen. So it's a big effort, but
Like, yeah, and I saw the evolution, Miriam. So well done. But you know what? A lot of our audience, people who are watching us now, maybe they have a perfect life and they are seeking perfection. So maybe it will be helpful to tell them what was the trigger? How did you start seeing that you were seeking perfection and that this perfection is not helping you, is not serving you?
so how did I see it? I really saw it. Actually, I had a workshop, an Enneagram workshop, and during that workshop, I discovered my personality and my trait, my limitations, my strengths, and my weaknesses. And it's really during that workshop that I understood that what I thought was one of my assets, which was perfectionism, was actually my limitation and what used to drag me, what used to slow me down. And then once I realized this, I noticed all the pattern in my life and I became more aware of it. It doesn't mean that I changed. It means that I'm just aware of it. And when I stop and I recognize it, I move away from this part and I become more fluid. So did I answer your question?
So, Miriam, what you're saying is that inside of every perfectionist, there is parts that are more flowing. So this is a hope message, like a message of hope for all the ones who are watching us now and saying, "Oh, I might be perfectionist, but I'm like that. I cannot change." So you've changed in a way.
I've changed
Cool.
in Yes, and I saw the result and the impact in my personal life, at work, with my friends, in my home. I did see the impact of allowing things to be not the way I want. It's a part of me that wants to control. And when I move back from this part, things flow in a much easier way.
It's a great transition to my next questions. What is your biggest imperfection?
Wow, what is my biggest imperfection? Many. Which one will I pick now?
The one that you are struggling with the most in this moment.
In this moment, I'm struggling with finding the right answer. I'm so perfectionist that even saying something, I struggle. Like, what if I say something and I could say something better, or I could have a better idea? So this is how it slows me down. No, very good example.
It's amazing because we're starting like that. Let's see at the end of this episode how you will be. I hope you will be a little bit more chill and we're going to be able to
At
take
least
away from
my
you some
secret sound.
answers that are not politically correct. What?
I am chill. I'm actually very chill and I'm enjoying it. But I'm realizing that even in such a simple conversation, how I tend again to be in my loop and in my pattern.
Which is the pattern of being perfect, of controlling the outcome, or what is this pattern that you are talking about?
That they're always I can always find something better to do, to say, to so you asked me a question, I
Mm.
wasn't able to answer the question because what if I can answer something that is better than what came first to my mind? So it's a very good example.
Yeah, so you are saying that there is always a better way of what you are doing. So whatever you are phrased in a different way, whatever you do, it's not enough.
It is enough, but we can always do better because this is how I was
Okay.
raised.
And how is this affecting your day-to-day life?
So I said it at the beginning. I think it slows me down because I just don't allow whatever comes in a very organic way to be the way it is. I always tend to want to change the tiniest detail. So it's really a slower pace for someone who's into action and who wants to move faster.
It's very funny. You're reminding me of something. I was working on a document today for work, and I was like, I saw myself in some moments stopping myself. It is okay if it's not perfect. I have 4 hours to review a document and give my view on something that will impact the next 6 months for me. And I'm still like, yeah, but what if, and what if, and what if, you go into loops. I understand you, Miriam. Yeah. And Miriam, what in which area of your life are you the most pushed to be perfect, or you tend to want to be perfect?
So of course at work, it's the area where I can practice the most not being perfect or allowing things to be what they are. But this is a huge area where I am very conscious and make a lot of effort because my this limitation also impacts others. So as I function and work with a group, I realize that I have to be very attentive to this detail. Other than this, I think in my personal life, at home with my kids, in my relationships, I think once it's a trait and it impacts all areas. So it depends where I want to put my attention, but I can find it on in many areas that it slows me down and it impact me.
Miriam, let's mention that you are like I've never spoke in this podcast about the professional side of things, and let's mention that you are the CEO of your company, and
Yeah.
so it puts even more pressure on you to be perfect. Maybe, you know, the expectation that you have of yourself, that the team have of you. How do you manage this? Because you should be perfect as a, you know, as a big manager, you know. So how do you deal with that?
So I think what I've learned with time, I deal with humor. I learned to introduce more human and lightness. And I yes, I saw it at work. That's when I added this layer, or when I understood that actually I can allow things and I can allow lightness. It brought a different aspects to my relationship with others, and I'm doing much better at work. So sometimes when people tend to see me that I'm going into this, when I add a touch of humor, they notice, they know that I know where I'm coming from. So it dissipates the tension and we can move in an easier flow. So yes, humor I
I'd
would.
love in the next Yeah, I'd love in the next episode to bring someone from your team to ask them the same question.
I'll have them
Great.
this before so they know what to answer.
They will hear this one. Miriam, so you spoke about, you said you have many imperfections. You mentioned one that we spoke about. Is there any other imperfections that come to your mind now that you would like to share?
I think simply other than I'm obsessive with this trait, but I think we're all imperfect, and in all areas, I tend to find imperfection. And with time and maturity, and the more I get to understand and know myself, and the more I get to be more compassionate with myself and with others, um, I I start accepting things for what they are. So I have less tension. So it's okay in all areas, with my kids, with my partner, with my parents, in my friendships. Um, and maybe one of the keys is really humor. What I really found with time is bringing humor, and also compassion to
And
myself.
self-compassion. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I remember one conversation. I was struggling a bit with my kids, and you told me the happiness of your kids is not your responsibility, and I was like, what? And then you explained to me that it's the meaning that my kids, in a way, they chose me, and they have their own path to go through, and that my imperfection also is part of the path. So, and the imperfection of life, and this take a huge amount of stress and tension from me, because we do our best, we are imperfect. Today I understand even more my parents, they were imperfect, but they did their best, I hope. And each one of us has his own path.
yes. Something came to my mind while you were sharing our last conversation, and from what we are talking, is that often as well, I remind myself that whatever I'm doing or wherever that is happening or whoever I'm being in the situation is just a role. It's like being in a movie and I'm just playing a role. So whether it's perfect or not perfect, it's something that's going to pass. It's impermanent. So it doesn't really matter. That's also a layer that helps, other than humor, that helps me really move through things in an easier way and accept the little details or the little imperfection of a situation.
Yes, Miriam, because this is very powerful what you just said, because in fact sometimes we tend to imprison ourselves in a role, or we think that if we messed up in this role, it means that we mess up everything, and we should hit ourselves because we messed up. So, and in fact, when you say to yourself that this is a role, and and this is a moment, and it was imperfect, and I'm not obliged to continue in this. I can change whenever I realize that, or whenever I have this awareness. It frees also a lot. It frees free us a lot. No,
Yes, yes.
what is yeah?
No, I had a thought and I lost it. It's okay. It will come back.
Shall we wait for it?
No, it will come back.
Sure. So, Miriam, uh,
Oh,
what
I
are
remember. I
yes?
remember. Okay. So talking
Give it
about
back to
role,
me.
and when you were sharing, you were developing. What also came to my mind is um, what defines us and what defines me or what doesn't define me. So I often um, remind also myself that in this role, I don't need to be stuck in whatever I'm being in this moment. I'm being in this moment in this role because I'm a mom, I'm a colleague, I'm a partner, I'm a friend. And if anything is out of course or anything, I define it as not perfect. It's okay because it does not define me. In the next moment, I can change. I can change who I am. I can change my relationship with the situation. I can change, and I can change even at how I look at the other person. So it's this um, it's another layer for me where I feel like I'm less stuck in relationship with others, people or situation, and I can move more freely in recreating and transforming a situation. So it just helps me. It's like a different way of self-compassion, if you.
This is called self schizophrenia. No, I'm kidding. But it is very close. I mean, I remember conversation with my wife. I tell her, "You can tell me you like coffee in 1 second, and the second later you tell me I don't like coffee." And before that, I used to think that this is craziness. Now I am the same. It's freeing also. Like, in this moment, I like coffee, and 5 minutes later, maybe I'm not feeling like coffee. And it's
So
okay. And it's the same with this when you detach.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't we redefine who we are and what we are moment to moment, depending on the situation?
Yeah. So, Miriam, what are how your imperfections taught you in your life more maybe than success did?
Hmm. How did the imperfection in my life taught me? more than success did? Well, yes, I could answer, maybe. My imperfections or the choices that I made, the wrong choices, so imperfect choices I made, they forged me. They forged my path, my personality. It allowed me with time to get to know more myself, to really understand, to unravel the intricacy of my personality and my choices. So they shaped me. They shaped me more than my success. Who I am, I think, I can recall thousands of situations where I was imperfect or things were not the way I wanted them to be, but I can recall very less successful stories. So really, it shaped my life and it shaped my perception and my taste of life. So
Can you take one aspect and tell us how did this shape your life?
just a second. So yes, the main aspect that really shaped me and how it impacted me is me in relationship, romantic relationship. I was married 3 times. I divorced 3 times. So I had three imperfect main relationships in my life. The way it shaped me is that I grew every time. I grew and I discovered other layers of myself. So from a perfect story or what should have been a perfect story and moving into all the other aspect of a relationship and divorcing 3 times in a short span of life because I'm still young. It did shape me. So for me today, this imperfect situation and having on my CV 3 divorces, for me actually they are my success. They are not something. They are my success because this is what forged me to become who I am. And even today, I know in a year or 2 years, I would become even something more. Life situation, the imperfection of life situation will only help me and push me to discover more layers and remove masks and layers and parts of my personality that I had constructed in the past because of education, social norms, and free more space. Like find more freedom in myself, in my inner experience, coming from those experiences, from the imperfect situation.
So,
Right?
Fred, thank you so.
At
It
all.
made so much sense. Although my questions seem to be open, but I was thinking of that. So, thank you a lot for sharing it. And I want to salute your courage because we see today a lot of imperfect relationships around us, a lot, and in which people choose to continue. And when they choose to continue, even if the relationship is imperfect, they lose everyday parts of themselves because they lose themselves. They lose, most importantly, as you said, that the opportunity to learn and grow and reach maybe a better version of themselves and for the relationship also better relationship. So there is a courage today, I think, even especially for also in societies in like Middle Eastern societies, to be a woman and to choose to stop a relationship because you think that it is imperfect, and to continue and to grow from it, and to keep believing that you could reach perfection in the next relationship. And this needs a lot of courage. So thank you for putting this on the table, because I think, and now that you are saying that these imperfect relationships are the ones that really shaped who you are today, it's even more powerful. Miriam, we lost you. Miriam?
So Ziad, I'm sorry because there
Yeah.
was a lag time. Something happened. Could you repeat the question?
I didn't ask a question. I was saying, I was talking about uh this. I was saying that I salute your courage for doing this. Yeah. So maybe we can continue from here. Let me think of how we can replay it, because I will montage it. So Miriam, do you think you are now ready for a perfect relationship?
So now I'm ready for the most imperfect relationship ever. um,
What is for you a perfect relationship, by the way?
so now with time and maturity, I understand that there is no such thing, of course. But what is important, it's not perfect, but what is important is communication. is intimacy in communication. So maybe it's something I won't find. Maybe I'm still looking for perfection, but I'm saying what is important today. I think I know more what's important and what really speaks to my heart and what's the language of my being. I don't think I will be in a perfect relationship. I think through whatever relationship I will be in, I am willing to do the work that needs to be done in order to grow. But this work, I cannot do it on myself, by myself. It takes two. In a
Yeah.
relationship, it takes two. And it takes two to have the same willingness and the same vision and the same dream. So I might again fall on someone who, with time, won't have the same dream or won't have the same, it wouldn't be the priority for that person. So I don't know. But will it be perfect or not? Today, I don't think I label anything as perfect anymore. I think with maturity
Mhm.
and time, we just let go of this attachment for things to look the way we want them to look. There is more trust, I think, in life and in myself.
I love the word trust. I needed to hear it, I think, today. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for putting it on the table. But, Miriam, when you spoke about these three relationships, you mentioned the learnings and you mentioned that it shaped you. Can you tell us more about that? I'm sure there were very difficult and challenging moments and a lot of pain. Can you tell us also a little bit how did you go through this pain or these challenges?
How did I go? I think it's not a superhuman power. I think we all go through all this. Maybe the only thing that defines me is that I don't give up. I don't give up on my personal dream. Uh, so how I went through with time. Like I had to deal with my pains. I had to deal with the situation. Sometimes it took years. Sometimes it took months. Sometimes it took days. But the only constant in all this is my willingness to overcome them. My willingness for not allowing these pains, these grief, these uh, failure, for lack of better words. And of course, I had many moments in my life where I thought these are failures. Today, I don't define them as failure because I use them as a definition for me as a success because growth is success. So I think it's just really staying with the pain, accepting the past, and seeing the light behind, knowing that I'm in a tunnel now, knowing that at the end, I will reach the light and I will reach whatever really is the deepest dream or what really makes me feel the most alive. I always knew I would reach there, no matter how difficult things were for me and for, of course, my surrounding, my family, my kids, my friend. Because when we go through situations like this, we don't go alone in this. It's true that I'm the one who's most concerned, but people around me are concerned. So, and that's also okay. It's also part of life. So I think it's a lot of acceptance and allowing time um, to weave in and unravel the outcome.
And Miriam, maybe there are some people now watching us and they are in an imperfect relationship, but they're not taking action. What in your case that helped you take action? And or what could you say to these people? What could you say from your experience?
So there is no right and wrong. There is no if a person is still in a relationship, it's because it still serves them to be in this relationship until it won't be serving anymore. And maybe it will be serving for an entire life. Since we are here for, each one of us is here for a path of growth in this life, a path of self-discovery. Whatever the formula that worked for me might not work for someone else, and what worked for someone else might not work for me. It's really just knowing um, what's the teaching, what's the learning, what do we want to get, and the maturity and the willingness. Some people don't have that strength; they have other strengths, and They can overcome other situations. I might be able to overcome these kind of situation and not others. So what I would say is really one should just know maybe that no matter what the difficulties are, there is always a way and there's always a light if this is what we really want. So for me, my personal freedom, the freedom of my personality, my growth, was and still is the, the most important thing in my life, because this is the purpose of life. This is the meaning of life for me. But this does not mean it's right, and it does not mean it resonates with other people. And there are so many circumstances that we cannot compare. So it needs maturity. It needs maturity of the heart, of the emotion, of the person, and being able to take responsibility for one's decision, action, and outcome of this. But it boils down to a lot of
Wow.
heart. It's a major hard decision.
It is. It is. Thank you, Miriam, for sharing. لحظة. Guys, عم سجل أنا please. نادي وطي صوتكم. Please, Riverside, edit this part. So, Miriam, I really am inspired by what you are saying, because some people would say, will judge the fact that, yeah, she had three marriages and she three divorces, and but I see it really as an act of courage and an act of freedom and an act of loyalty for who you are and for who you want to be. And as you said, it needs a lot of maturity of the heart, which is even more difficult to achieve than the maturity of the mind. So I would really like to salute this. Yeah.
So there's something that always an analogy. I think in the society we put so much pressure on the meaning of marriage and relationship, and it is sacred. I think marriage and relationship are a sacred part of our life, but everything is sacred as well. Most of us have had many paths in our careers, for example. We have had 2, 3, 4 changes of careers. And when we change career, very few people will judge us because we have changed career. Some people would judge us, some people would give opinion, people would give their opinion, but they would not uh, put us or box us as a failure or as something that is a problem, because it's just a career. But a career is a life career as well. In life, we choose our path very very early in life, and sometimes we make wrong choices. Sometimes we grow. Sometimes we discover other um, uh, um, passions, other qualifications, and sometimes our skills with time and with maturity, our skills even change. So for me, it is also a perspective that if in my marriages I decided to change or I failed or the relationship took a course that did not was not aligned with who I am, then it's just like um, a path of a career in life. It's okay if we change. For me, change is not changing a relationship, is not something that define a major breakout, a major failure in my life. Of course, I would have loved to be able to grow in a relationship, but if at some point, like in a career, I could not find myself in this home or in this relationship, and then I could not find myself. Then I have to devote my and honor who I am and move on. So really,
Definitely.
it's about the meaning we give to anything. We can give deep meanings, different layers. Um, so that's why I was able also to overcome three major relationships in my life. For me, it's like a career.
I Yeah, I love the comparison to the career, the analogy to the career, because it's true. It's we are giving more meaning to three marriages than giving the same meaning to three careers or three job changes or whatsoever. It's true that This is how we are constructed. These are the programs that society, that the religion, that all these elements they put in us. But correct me if I'm wrong. You had only one career, no, to throughout your life. So no. I was like, okay, maybe we should have one of the two that is more stable.
No, I have two careers.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. But Miriam, it's good that we're talking about society, about the world in which we live, which for people like you and me who love perfection is like so stressful because we see perfection everywhere, on TV, on social media. We don't see the backstage of things. We only see what they want to show us, and we believe that everybody's perfect, but not us. How do you ground yourself in this perfection obsessed world?
So, you used a correct word, a term, ground. In the past, I could not be grounded in this word. Now, with time, the more I get to know myself, the more I get to mature and accept the contradictions even within me. The more I have self compassion and the more I have compassion to others, the more I'm accepting of me, my defects, and accepting of people's defect and situation defect and the uncertainty. Uh, the more I see simplicity and acceptance in what is. So I have less resistance. So there is less of an internal fight within myself. So there is more flow. There is more humor, I mentioned before. And I feel grounded in acceptance.
And do you have any small tips or tools that you use to ground yourself in some moments of uh, uh, challenge?
Yes, I already have a practice, a daily practice of waking up in the morning and having I dedicate a chunk of time for my mornings to have time alone, quiet time, where I do certain practices that ground me, that remind me who I am, that bring me back to the essence of my personality, myself. Have different ways of breathing, yoga, exercises, silence, reading. So it's very important how I start my day. If I dedicate my day upon waking up to doing certain ritual of grounding. They might be different things, different people, but I have mine. I start already my day on a note where I'm ready to face the day. If I ever start the day in a hectic way where I did not have this slightest time, this little window of reflecting before going into the word, I notice how my day is more reactive. So what's very important to me is the preparation, like how I prime my day. It's like taking a shower every day. I have an internal shower of different practices that allow me to ground myself, prepare myself before I open up and start and go and I have being a mom, going at work, different roles in life. Uh, so I make sure that I have this practice so I can be more responsive instead of being reactive. Most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I'm reacted. Sometimes um, I don't have this time for this practice. And if I don't, and if I go into a loop of stress, I make it a point to stop, to to stop myself, to recall on myself, like Miriam, stop it right now, stop it. And I go. I can stay in the toilet. I can stay in the room. Sometimes I stay in the car for 5 minutes just to ground myself, to breathe, to remember why I'm here, why I'm doing, what's the purpose. Uh, Calming back, going back into my heart. For me, it's very important to go back to my heart. I can go back in a world where I have a capacity to respond to situation instead of reacting to situations.
Wow. Thank you, Miriam, for reminding me of taking these. Like in the morning, I'm doing it, the morning ritual, but during the day, it's true that these days are a little bit intense. And I would love to take 5 minutes. I don't have a car in Paris. Maybe in the toilet, it's possible. Taking some time to breathe and to remember. Remember, this word is so important to remember why we're here, what we're doing, what's the purpose. We every second we forget, in fact, and I think you used a very key word, which is remembering, 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 remembering. Now I need to remember my next question. No. So, uh, you know, um, uh, is there a moment in your life where you saw that you were trying to be perfect, and then you just said to yourself, "Oh, I'm gonna drop this perfection and then just be myself"?
Of course. Uh, in the last 2 years, when I realized that this is part of my limitations, um, I often, if not every day, sometimes I forget, sometimes I'm taken, I often stop. And I said it at the beginning of our session. It's also similar to what we were saying, how I ground myself. In the morning, I do my preparation, and sometimes during the day, I pause when I feel like um, I'm bubbling and I'm not grounded. I just take the time to pause. And it's the same thing when I notice that I'm going into my pattern, or when I see that I did it already, I I slow down and I go back. I remember again that, oh, um, this is my this is what used to define me. This is how I think I'm constructed, but this is not serving. So I go back to a more reflective aspect of myself.
Miriam, if I meet you, I don't know you, and I meet you in a beautiful garden with gold light everywhere and rivers and nature and with no roles,
Mm.
any role to play. Who would I meet?
I think you would meet a dancing fairy
I'm sure.
with wings flying and dancing.
Yes,
You would meet someone that
colorful.
it's colorful, very light, very. I think I would laugh a lot. I realize with time that I'm starting to laugh more and I enjoy laughing. So yes, a laughing fairy maybe.
Great. So I'm gonna ask the flying, how do you call it? Did you call it?
Laughing fairy.
I will ask the laughing fairy, if you have in front of you now somebody who has similar imperfections as yours, or is not feeling good enough, or not satisfied from where they are today in life, what would you tell them?
Would encourage them to feel all the pain, to feel the pain of the limitation we put on ourselves, to live them fully, to cry them, to really allow this big cry, because there's something that needs to crack. So I would ask them to just allow themselves to go and feel that and feel where it's coming from, and imagine him, themselves, side of this circumstance. A little bit like you just mentioned, if you would meet Miriam today in a golden light garden, who would they be? I would probably take them into also a visualization so they can remember who they are outside of this trap.
Finishing the episode with the word trap? My God, yes. Miriam, tell me more. Which trap do we live in? I don't understand. Am I trapped?
Perfectionism.
Yes, true, true. That's why I felt it's so real what you said. Miriam, I want to thank you so much for our beautiful conversation. We spoke about so many interesting stuff today. So we spoke about, so your main defect or your main imperfection is that you are perfectionist. So you love perfection. So we started on the wrong foot. And this perfection comes from a wish to control, a wish for safety, I would guess. And what you found in your own way is how to find yourself or realize in the moment that you are going in this direction of perfectionism and stopping, taking a step back, stopping yourself and asking yourself, is this serving me or not? And if it's not serving you, make a change. And the tools that helped you are first the laughing or the fun, having fun.
Humor.
Second is reminding yourself, humor, yes. Second is sorry, I know that was you are even better than me in synthesizing, so please correct me if I'm wrong. You know I'm imperfect. So humor. Second is reminding yourself that it's a role, and third, reminding yourself that you can change the role or change the way you are approaching it. We spoke about also um, a very important topic, which is imperfect relationships, and how you gathered your strengths to get out of the first and second and third relationship, while keep and because, and this is I love this, because you believe that the main motivator and the main drive for you comes from growing, from improving yourself, from being as close as possible to your essence, to who you really are. And whenever you find yourself in a situation or in a relationship that takes you away from who you are, or who which hinders your love for self improvement and self development, you would try to make it work, but then if it doesn't, you would find drastic solutions. And this is a very courageous action to be taken. What helped you in taking these actions is your perseverance, because when you want to do something, you find the way to do it, the support system that you had, and being able to deal with these challenges, and as you called it failures, but now you don't call it failures because you also called it as success, the three successes of your life that helped you shape who you are today. Then you spoke about how you ground yourself in this perfection obsessed world by your morning routine, by also using some breathing techniques or reminding yourself, remembering why you are here, what is your purpose in this moment, what are your purpose, and remembering who you are in fact, and by using the breathing, the somatic exercises and other, and you can do it throughout the day, and this is so powerful because it works. It takes you out of the program and bring you to your essence. And lastly, we spoke about the little laughing fairy that is would be you in a perfect environment, and what you would say to somebody who's feeling down or feeling not good enough today, or what not enough. You would tell them to live their pain, because it's very important to live the pain, to live it to the max, to grieve it, to live it, feel it in your body, in your mind, everywhere. And then from there, try to remember again who they are, why they are here, to create this motivation again in their life, and go out of the trap in which we live. And we're going to stop on the trap, no? Thank you, Miriam. It was a very insightful conversation. How do you feel now compared to the beginning of the session, the episode?
I felt great at the beginning, and I feel even greater now. Thank you for this,
Great.
for allowing me to even discover myself through this conversation, because sometimes the word we use and the sensations while talking also allow us to process, or allow me to process. So it was also insightful to me to hear myself through your questions and through the exchange. So thank you, Ziad.
Thank you, Miriam. And as every imperfect podcast, now the image is so well, not pixelized, 0 pixels. During the whole podcast, it was pixelized. Now it's 0 pixel. But of course, we are in the imperfect podcast. And guess what, Miriam? We're gonna see you again in this podcast. Hopefully, when we will have 1 million followers. So,
We'll be
in
back.
how much time do you think we're gonna get there? 2, 3 weeks? 2, 3 months? 20 years?
Why put pressure?
Exactly. It's imperfect.
It's imperfect. Let's just
It's
play.
imperfect. Yes, let's play. So, Miriam, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching us or listening to us in this imperfect podcast. Please follow us, subscribe, like. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, and on Instagram, Imperfect Podcast. Thank you so much, and thank you, Miriam, and see you soon.